WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I got to say.
I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon here with you alongside a fairly packed house. We've got Serena back in the house observing what I do. Apparently, I didn't scare her away for more than a week. And also Mama Kathy's here in the house. And, of course, Ted Efaw. He's getting ready to bring you the Country Roads show coming up after I'm done here talking wrestling and whatnot. And Lucas, conspicuous by his absence. How many times have I said that over the course of the last few months? No, he's taking care of some things down at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, and he really regrets not being here today, and I say that with all sincerity, even though it doesn't sound like it because I sound like a complete smart aleck. But we all know this. Yes. Where to start here? A lot has gone on over the course of the week. The TLC results, we'll get into that in a little bit. Also, coming off of TLC, well, we have a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but it didn't happen at the pay-per-view. We'll get into that coming up. Also, the big NXT TakeOver, some Wednesday afternoon wrestling for those of you here on the East Coast, as NXT TakeOver emanating from London. That was a 3 o'clock in the afternoon start, so some of you probably saw it a little bit later on delay on the network. We can get into that a little bit. Ring of Honor Final Battle was last night, so if you happen to attend that, you can certainly chime in on that. It was, of course, at the ECW Arena, or the 2300 Arena down in South Philadelphia, the main event of Jay Lethal and AJ Styles for the ROH title. So a lot to get into there with that. Litany of news to get into. A new voice of SmackDown was hired. We'll tell you about that coming up. Where's Wade Barrett been? I know that was a question that was brought up on the WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page. Well, I've got the answer to that, and yeah, somebody already answered it on the Facebook page. But in case you aren't on there, why the heck aren't you? Go to Facebook and just look up WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly and join the group and participate in the fun and the action. I love interaction, and it helps me not sound like a complete clown, as I tend to do when I'm on the airwaves and in front of the microphone here. Also, Seth Rollins, his reaction to the WWE World Heavyweight title change. We've got that coming up. The Tribute to the Troops, they gain a huge sponsor. I've got that story for you. The Tuesday Night Wars, they might be starting in January. No, it's not like the Monday Night Wars. It's just a little different, to give you an idea. Also, we'll give you the Slammy Award preview for this coming Monday, the various categories and nominees, and I don't know if I necessarily want to pick them. I think I'm done with picks for the year, and I'll get into griping about that coming up in a little bit. Also, some early TNA shows being aired from Pop TV. That's right, they're airing TNA shows in 2015, even though their debut isn't coming up for another few weeks. So we'll get into that. And also the latest on the CM Punk, Colt Cabana, and WWE Dr. Chris Amon legal battle. All that still coming your way. But for now, why the heck not? We'll go ahead and get to the phones early here, give him his fair amount of time, a look at the local scene. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about what's going on locally over the course of the past week. None other than Ed from Northeast Philly. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. WWE Payback pay-per-view is coming to Newark, New Jersey in May.
Yes, that was.
Heard about that.
Yeah, that was one of the stories I was going to get into. I forgot to mention it as a teaser, but yes, WWE Payback 2016 will be held Sunday, May 22nd at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The announcement was made this past Tuesday during the SmackDown taping at the same venue. So far, five of WWE's pay-per-view dates and locations are set for 2016. The Royal Rumble next month on the 24th in Orlando. Fastlane on February 21st in Cleveland, Ohio. Obviously, WrestleMania 32, April 3rd in Arlington, Texas. The aforementioned Payback on May 22nd in Newark. And SummerSlam in Brooklyn, New York on August 22nd.
ROH is tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say they've been very popular as they were here for Final Battle last night. Did you get a chance to check that out?
No, I forgot about it last night.
That was I think their iPay-per-view that they had. I was unable to attend due to other circumstances. I might get into that a little bit later. Not that I'm one for teasing big things because I don't want to be like Dixie Carter, but I do have a big announcement indirectly regarding the future of this show coming up pretty much right at the top of the hour or pretty close to it, just maybe about a minute or so before, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that.
Impact was... I'll let you handle that one.
Oh, no. You can go ahead. I don't want to steal all your thunder. You're the one calling into this show here. I have a whole hour to talk. You only have a few minutes.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at the Sands.
Oh, the Sands Bethlehem. It's a pretty nice casino. I can't say I've spent a whole lot of shekels there, or won a whole lot of shekels there, but certainly a nice venue up there.
And you probably heard about PWS tonight in Raleigh.
Yes, Pro Wrestling Syndicate.
Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett.
Yes, Jeff and Karen Jarrett are going to be there. I won't be able to attend that either, unfortunately. I'm getting called all over the place. It's all kind of crazy here.
And they're going to have a joint show, I think, in January, I read.
Yes, there's going to be kind of a correlation. I think I talked about it a week or so ago here on the program that Global Force Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett's organization, is going to be working with Pro Wrestling Syndicate. What date was that? January 23rd, I want to say. It's that Saturday after going to a venue in New York on Friday the 22nd. It was where Jeff Jarrett made his WWF debut back in '94, and I'm drawing a blank on the name. I remember reporting about it a week or so ago.
Mid Hudson?
Thank you. The Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York. Thank you. Thank you for jarring my memory there, because it tends to slip after a while. All these different dates and facts and numbers in my head, sometimes they get a little bit jumbled.
And Too Cold is going to be in Lancaster next weekend.
Oh, is that an LCW show?
Yeah, LCW at the Lancaster Resort.
I still have to get out there at some point. There are a few folks who I know and have seen down there, and mean to.
All three members are going to be down there. Scotty, Too Hotty, Rikishi, and Brian Christopher.
Oh, a Too Cool and Rikishi reunion. How about that? I wonder if they'll dance like they did at the the 2000 Royal Rumble, or was that 01? Again, my dates are getting a little confused here. No, it was 2000 was the one in New York, I want to say.
And plus, Shane Douglas is on that card, too.
Oh, and the franchise Shane Douglas. How about that?
When is Billy Gunn going to... What time is that tomorrow at George's?
Oh, well, I was going to say, you're kind of shuffling me around a little bit here, but that is from noon to 2. I'll get a little bit more into that coming up. But, of course, I've got to talk about our good friends over at George's Cards and Collectibles, but I'll give them their full due coming up in a little bit. But yes, Billy Gunn's going to be over there tomorrow at George's Cards and Collectibles in the Chamonix Mall tomorrow, December 20th, from noon until 2 p.m. So you definitely want to check that out.
That's about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ed from Northeast Philly, giving us the look at the local scene as he does pretty much on a weekly basis here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. Well, yeah, I'll get into a little bit and then I'll come back to it. I'll go over TLC and then we'll talk about George's a little bit more. Things change second by second around here. I know I say that all the time. All right, so TLC, one thing, and this is kind of why I wish that that Lucas was here. I didn't do so hot in my picks. 4-3 for the pay-per-view. Lucas, an astonishing 6-1 to finish out the year, and overtake me, getting 58 of his picks correct and 35 of them incorrect. So that would be quick math here. 58 out of 93 as opposed to my 57 out of 93, besting me by one pick. The intern has outpicked the host for the year. What the? I don't know. I feel ashamed almost. You know what? In fact,
I have to retire after the show.
Okay, maybe it doesn't quite work that way. I don't believe so. But yes. I'm surprised that Lucas would turn down the opportunity to be here because I'm sure he'd be gloating all kinds of crazy.
I beat the smart kids. I beat the smart kids. Oh.
Or something like that. Well, no, he'd probably just simply say,
I'm a celebrity now. That's right. I said it. I'm a celebrity.
Yeah, all those possibilities are certainly out there. But, yeah, going over the pay-per-view, in the pre-show, Sasha Banks beating Becky Lynch in a great opening match. That, of course, wasn't advertised, because why would they? And then the pay-per-view kicking off with the triple threat ladder match, the New Day beating the Usos and the Lucha Dragons to retain the WWE Tag Team Championship. Great hot match to get things started. Rusev beat Ryback. I didn't get that one right. Lucas did. Alberto Del Rio pinning Jack Swagger in the chairs match to retain the U.S. title. I didn't get that one right either, but Lucas did. The Wyatt family beating Team ECW in an elimination tables match. Both got that one right. Dean Ambrose winning the Intercontinental Championship, pinning Kevin Owens. I'm sure he was thrilled about that and thrilled about picking that one correctly, as I didn't there either. You can see how my evening went. Charlotte beat Paige to retain the Divas title. I got that one right and Lucas didn't. And then Sheamus beating Roman Reigns in a TLC match to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But I did say there was a new champion. No, I didn't completely lose my mind, as this past Monday on Raw at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, thanks to, well, a little bit more humor between the legs, we'll put it that way, regarding Roman Reigns, following up on his tater tots comment from last week, saying Vince McMahon, who made an appearance, Vince's grapefruits were more like shriveled up prunes. Go figure. Anyway, Vince, based on that, made a title match where if Reigns didn't become champion, he'd be fired, as we're used to hearing Vince McMahon say. So, of course, Roman Reigns pinning Sheamus in the main event of Raw to become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Makes for some interesting, there's a lot of interesting things that have gone on regarding that, considering that it's in the same building that 11 months earlier Roman Reigns was getting booed out of when he won the Royal Rumble. I still get chills just thinking about it when I was there live. I have never heard more vociferous boos. You would have thought that it was Santa Claus and Michael Irvin rolled up into one. And probably a few other examples that I couldn't immediately think of. J.D. Drew, perhaps. Yeah, all of those entities rolled into one. That's how loud the booing was inside the Wells Fargo Center back in January of this year when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. And this is the same crowd that, fast forward 11 months, they're cheering their heads off when Roman Reigns wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, beating Sheamus. So, what can I say? Wrestling is a funny thing, isn't it? Alrighty. Yeah, I guess we are at about that time where I got to tell you about our friends over at George's Cards and Collectibles. It's your place for sports and wrestling memorabilia as well as legendary sports figure appearances. As Ed from Northeast Philly mentioned a few minutes ago, former WWE and TNA superstar Billy Gunn will be at George's in the Neshaminy Mall tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow, December 20th, from noon until 2 p.m. Now, there aren't many holiday shopping days left, so make sure that you get your sports collectibles at any of George's 3 locations. Their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Fairless Hills, on the lower level of the Oxford Valley Mall next to the Sears Court, and in the Neshaminy Mall in the AMC Theater Wing. Plus, for the holiday season, there's a 4th store open in the Willow Grove Park Mall on the third level between Sears and the food court. So you definitely want to check that out as well. Now, for more info on the upcoming signings, including Billy Gunn tomorrow, as well as collectibles and more, give George's a call at 215-943-2475 or go to georgescollectibles.com. They always have amazing. If you check out their Facebook page, I mean, they're always putting up new stuff that they're getting in, and it's all great. Whether you're a wrestling fan, baseball fan, football, hockey, basketball. Well, I don't know if you'd want any Sixers memorabilia right about now. Well, I mean, maybe from Dr. J or Charles Barkley, but I don't know about this current squad. 1-26, 1-27 now, something. The less I say about that, the better. It's like the anti-Goldberg streak from back in '98. Okay, I know. I'm one of the few who kind of sort of remembers that. All right, let me take care of some business here. Our first time out, and we'll get into some of the news and whatnot. We'll give you the Slammy preview coming up and a whole bunch more, as well as room for your calls. 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. Good time to chime in. I know you're probably out there doing your last-minute holiday shopping here on this Super Saturday, as it's now being called, because apparently it's going to do more business than Black Friday because people go, it's the Saturday before Christmas. I've got shopping to do. Oh, no. I don't know. Retail people have these analytics and whatnot that show they try to make every day a very profitable day, which would make sense because that's what retail does. But enough of a business lesson. Let's get to making business for ourselves here via the commercial format here on Pro Wrestling Weekly, here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here, trying to regain my composure after what I saw on the internets during the commercial break. Holy smokes. Serena and Mama Kathy here in studio. Ted Efaw, he's getting ready for the Country Road show coming up at 1 o'clock. But this posted courtesy of OSW Review. I give them a little bit of love here and there and otherwise. But they have posted up, this looks to be a Snapchat picture. Careful, it's not going in that direction. We already had that with Seth Rollins earlier this year. That's a whole nother deal that I'm definitely not going to get into. But it's speech in what appears to be a communications class, and this person's presentation is comparing and contrasting John Cena with Jesus Christ. I kid you not. Just look it up on the internets, because I don't know how much I can get into it without getting into any kind of trouble, but I saw this and at least had to make mention of it, as I've got an ear-to-ear bleep-eating grin just out of the sheer hilarity of it and the stupidity and the silliness, because those are the things that make me laugh, just because it's something that you wouldn't otherwise expect. You never know what's going to happen here on the show. What can I say? There's one thing is going to happen. Some various news and reaction and things of that nature, and I've got some of it here for you. Or at least I'd like to think I do. Well, one bit of news. The new voice of SmackDown was hired. That's right, Mauro Ranallo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I can't say that I'm too familiar with him personally, but he's been hired to serve as the new voice of SmackDown, according to Sports Illustrated. He'll take over as the play-by-play voice of SmackDown once it moves full-time to USA Network on January 7th. The SI story notes that Michael Cole contacted Ranallo about a month ago to gauge his interest in working for the company. Ranallo telling Sports Illustrated, quote, "This was an opportunity I did not think I would get at this point of my career, and I jumped on it. I've been a lifelong fan of the product." Michael said that when Vince saw the Warren Buffett video, it seemed to cinch it. They believed I could sell the entertainment part. Now, he's also done some stuff for, I believe, New Japan Pro Wrestling on the AXS network here in the States, and that's where he's gotten some exposure. Plus, he's, I believe, done some mixed martial arts commentary as well. Now, also WWE and NBC Universal announcing that Coca-Cola, drink up, will be the presenting partner of the 13th annual WWE Tribute to the Troops event, which will air as a 2-hour special this Wednesday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on the USA Network. as part of WWE Week on the USA Network. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit now. I think it starts tomorrow night where I'm already drawing a blank as to that movie that the Christmas movie that The Miz was in a couple of years ago. It's making its debut on the WWE Network. And then, of course, not on the WWE Network, on the USA Network, representing WWE. You'd think after 7 years I'd know what the heck I'm talking about. Sometimes the synapses don't quite work. What the hell can I say? I don't know. Raw on Monday, a special live SmackDown broadcast on the USA Network on Tuesday, because I guess they figure they'll do better with that than trying to get ratings on Christmas Eve. Or maybe they're going to replay it on Sci-Fi on Christmas Eve and try to get a double benefit out of it. That could be possible, too. And then the Tribute to the Troops on Wednesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, also on the USA Network. Now, the Tribute to the Troops special, it will chronicle WWE's visit to Florida's Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Arena for military personnel and their families stationed at the Jacksonville Naval Air Station, Naval Station Mayport, and Kings Bay Naval Submarine Base. That is a lot of naval. The special will also include a musical performance by Grammy Award-winning rock band Train, a comedic act by Howie Mandel, as well as messages of encouragement and thanks from various celebrities such as Neil Patrick Harris, Christina Aguilera, Adam Levine, Michael Bublé, one of Matt Miro's favorites, Ava Longoria, Neo, I guess that's how you... N-E-Y-O. You can tell I'm not exactly big in the hip-hop community. What can I tell you? As well as Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, among others. So there you go. Tribute to the Troops. They've been doing it for... this is their 13th year that they've done it. It's been a huge success for them, and it looks to continue doing so. Now, also, Seth Rollins, he addressed Roman Reigns winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship via Twitter Monday night. Rollins tweeting, quote, "Enjoy it while it lasts, Roman Reigns. Keep the throne warm." Rollins, of course, out having surgery on the knee after tearing his ACL, MCL, and meniscus while on the WWE European tour a little bit before Survivor Series, probably about 5-6 weeks ago. And he's set to be out probably until the late summer, maybe even missing SummerSlam in August of 2016. So a long road to recovery for Seth Rollins, but he's looking to get his title back once he is fully mended up following the injury and surgery. Speaking of injuries, well, some of you may have wondered where Wade Barrett has been in various TV scenes involving the League of Nations faction. Well, Barrett tweeted about his absence this past Wednesday, saying, quote, "Rehabbing a little nerve damage in my neck at the moment, hence the disappearing act. Nothing major, but not worth taking unnecessary risks." Yeah, there are a lot of unnecessary risks in wrestling, so I can certainly and wholeheartedly agree with that. And the Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page, always active, and you never know what's going to come out of it. Regarding Michael Cole recruiting Mauro Ranallo as the new play-by-play voice of SmackDown, John from Northeast Philly writing, "Michael Cole recruiting? Was that job given to him by the yet-to-be-revealed anonymous Raw general manager?" Well, see, now that's not true, John. The anonymous Raw general manager's identity was revealed. Remember, it was Hornswoggle. We all try to forget that, but it was revealed. I don't know. There we go. Bringing some facts, or at least trying to here. I feel like this is a lot of injury news this week. I don't know. William Regal announcing via Twitter that he wouldn't be attending the NXT TakeOver London Live special. He was on tour with WWE's NXT grouping in London, but he tweeted, quote, "I'm incredibly sorry, but I have had to return to the U.S. to take care of some final details of my recent neck surgery that couldn't be avoided any longer. Again, I'm sorry that I cannot continue with the current tour, but I'll be back in 2016 to WWE NXT." William Regal, of course, his home country is England, so he was looking forward to being there live for his home country crowd, but he was unable to do so as he recently had the neck surgery, taking care of a couple of vertebrae, I think 3 different vertebrae in the neck, and the scar on his Twitter page still gives me shudders. Just a little bit. Let me also talk about the Tuesday Night Wars that are coming up. That's right. E! Entertainment Network listing the 5th season of WWE's Total Divas reality show. One of Serena's favorites, I'm sure. Man, the look I just got. No. Total Divas reality show premiering on Tuesday, January 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, TNA's Impact Wrestling premieres on Pop TV on Tuesday, January 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern, so the two shows will be running opposite one another. And that shows that the faith that WWE has in how little competition TNA is they're putting their Total Divas show up against it and figure that they'll beat them in the ratings. Will they? Time will tell. We'll find out on the 19th, or more so the 20th or 21st, or whenever the ratings come out for that. Not that it's a 1-week ratings deal, but the ratings, it's what people talk about. I don't know. Also, speaking of TNA, Pop TV trying to get a jump start on airing TNA programming, as the Best of 2015 program that was advertised at the end of this week's episode of Impact on Destination America will instead air on Pop TV this Tuesday, according to TNA's website and Pop's official programming guide. The special will air opposite the live SmackDown on USA Network this Tuesday, the 22nd. Also, some not-so-good news for Jeff Hardy. His injury suffered back in April from a dirt biking accident is worse than originally thought. According to the Wrestling Observer, Hardy will need another surgery, putting him out of action for another year. Now, by the time he would return, if he were to return to the ring, he'd have spent a year and a half away from the squared circle and would be closing in on 40 years of age, making it rather difficult to keep his aerial in-ring style that he's been known for throughout his career. So, best of convalescence to Jeff Hardy, as he was one of my favorites growing up, and I know he was, is Lucas's as well, one of his influences, for lack of a better term. So, here's hoping for the best on that. We'll get into some more news in just a little bit. I know we have to talk about the Slammy still, as well as the latest on the CM Punk, Colt Cabana, Chris Amon legal battle that's been going on. But talk a little Ring of Honor. I know I don't get the chance to talk a lot about it, but from all accounts that I got, a fantastic show last night down at the 2300 Arena. Number one contenders for the Ring of Honor tag titles, All Night Express, Kenny King and Rhett Titus. They beat the Briscoes and the Young Bucks in a triple threat match to become number one contenders. Also, Silas Young beating Dalton Castle. Michael Elgin taking care of Moose in a little under 12 minutes. Adam Cole pinning Kyle O'Reilly. A couple of notable names there. A six-man tag, Alex Shelley, ACH, and Matt Sydal beating Chris Daniels, Kazarian, and Chris Sabin. So the former Motor City Machine Guns facing off against each other in that six-man tag match. Roderick Strong beating Bobby Fish to retain the Ring of Honor television title. War Machine beating Matt Taven and Michael Bennett to win the ROH tag titles. And in your heavyweight title match, still Ring of Honor heavyweight champion Jay Lethal, as he defeated AJ Styles to retain the championship. So, yeah, from all accounts, a great show, and they've got another one coming up tonight, although the one last night was on the iPay-per-view, so that should be interesting. All right, coming up, we'll talk Slammy Awards and give you all of the listed categories and a few of the nominees as well. This should certainly be interesting. And we've, of course, got today in wrestling history, birthdays, and that big announcement that I have still coming up for the end of the show. But here at 12:38, you know what time it is. I got to tell you about my favorite beer spot, the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol. Broken Goblet Brewing, breaking your perspective on how you experience craft beer, because broken can be beautiful. The adventure continues as the second bottle of 15 in the Lonely Mountain series will be released today. That's right, Nori, a 10% Belgian triple brewed with lavender. Yeah, let that sink in for a second, because that is, they definitely do some against-the-grain things, but they seem to work. Plus, now's the time to join the Irregular Empire. That's right, the Broken Goblets Members Club. Fulfill your destiny with one of two paths, the path of the Sith or the path of the Emperor, because everybody's getting in on the Star Wars kick. Well, everybody except me, I suppose. Benefits include bottle releases, a 2016 growler with discounted fills, a half-price weekend each month, access to a members-only beer in the back, and a whole bunch more, which, when I was there last weekend, I believe it was a dry-hopped cream ale that they had in the back, which, again, is only available to the irregular members, of which I am one of. So there you go. There's a chance to get in on that. And it's constantly rotating, so it's always something new and different. So you definitely want to give that a look. And those are just some of the things. There's a lot more. You can check it out at the Broken Goblet's Facebook page. They have it almost looks like Dark Helmet's face, but it's Darth Vader with the Broken Goblet's E emblem that is very nicely done. And yes, the different paths basically referring to the different costs and benefits. I won't tell you which one I chose, but needless to say, I'm going to be sticking around for a little while. Anyway, open Wednesdays through Sundays. It's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Check them out on the web at brokengoblet.com. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. And I guess I should make a note that they will be closed this Friday for Christmas, although they will have limited hours, I believe, noon to 5 on Christmas Eve. So if you have to get those last-minute growler libations to put up with the various family members. And, of course, Wednesday night is Bartender Righteous's Christmas special, as they've finally finished their countdown to the Star Wars movie release. They were showing the 6 movies each Wednesday night leading up to the release of the Star Wars, the new Star Wars film in theaters. So you never know what they're going to do there. They've got live music. They had a Cards Against Humanity night one night. That's a fun card game that can cause a lot of trouble. And there we go. Pro Wrestling Weekly and Cards Against No, that would definitely get us thrown off the air, especially some of the cards. The bleep button would be used more than. No, I won't use that joke on Lucas because he'll punch me next time he sees me, or maybe give me a super tick. I don't know, something like that, as opposed to super kick. Okay, that is an inside joke that I'm probably going to catch all kinds of heat for later. Not the first time, definitely won't be the last. All right, we'll take care of some business here. We'll come back. We've got birthdays. We've got the big announcement. We've got the Slammy preview and room for you as well here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, December 19. On this date in 1999, WCW held its Starrcade pay-per-view. In the main event, Bret Hart defeated Goldberg by submission in a no disqualification match to retain the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2010, WWE held its TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view. In the main event, John Cena pinned Wade Barrett in a chairs match. On this date in 2011, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In the main event, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Zack Ryder defeated Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, and The Miz in a 6-man tag team match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, December 19.
You are listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Dairy.
Thank you, Eric Bischoff, and welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Dairy here in studio alongside Serena, observing whatever the hell it is that I do, along with Mama Kathy and Ted Efaw out in the somewhere in the production lobby. He's around. He's getting ready. He's rosining up the bow and the fiddle for the country roads coming up, or something like that. I don't know. It was the first thing I thought of. I don't know. I should know better. Like Hillbilly Jim's songs said years ago, don't go messing with a country boy. So I'm gonna make sure to not do that. But looking at the Facebook fan page, WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly, John from Northeast Philly, a few funny things in there. Lucas on winning the year-to-date win-loss and pay-per-view predictions. It's me, Fearon. It was me all along, Fearon. Like the Vince It's Me Austin thing from The Higher Power. No? Okay. Do I have to play the clip to remind you? Well, yeah, it's probably better so I can save my throat because doing that Vince voice just never goes well. And also, in reference to the Broken Goblet's limited hours on Christmas Eve, he says it's to prepare everyone for that Uncle Eddie we all but certainly have in our families, #Christmas vacation. Just make sure that the isn't full or something like that. See, I actually can make that joke because I finally saw that movie for the first time last Christmas. It took me forever to finally get to it, but that is a fantastic movie, and I finally, me not being a moviegoer, actually got the chance to see it. It only took me forever, but better late than never, right? And that'll come into fruition probably more in about 12 minutes or so. I'll just leave it at that. A little tip off to the big announcement coming a little bit later here regarding the program. So I've got the latest for you on the CM Punk, Colt Cabana, and Chris Amon legal battle. And no, I don't think it involves anything with Z-Packs, at least at the moment. According to the latest court reports, CM Punk and Colt Cabana filed documents dated December 15th. That would be, I believe, this past... I can do math good as far as counting days, can't I? That would be this past Tuesday. Responding to WWE's Dr. Chris Amon's civil complaint of libel and slander stemming from their Thanksgiving 2014 podcast discussing Punk's departure from WWE. The documents were an answer to the complaint filed, and I'm using that in air quotes, and an affirmative defense. Now, without getting into a bunch of legalese, basically Punk and Cabana are attempting to use some form of legal grounds to either get the case dismissed or justify their actions to satisfy the claim. The court, I guess, trial, battle, legal issues, the next time they'll be appearing in court will be February 1st, as it has been continued until then. Now, WWE has announced the following categories and nominees for the 2015 Slammy Awards, which will be airing this Monday on Raw in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My Slammy's still at home. Yes, I do have a Slammy. I bought it, though. I didn't earn it. Not yet, anyway. So the categories that they have but have not announced the nominees for, you've got Superstar of the Year, which, of course, makes sense. Match of the Year. WWE Diva of the Year. Breakout Star of the Year, LOL Moment of the Year. Well, of course, because Vince loves his comedy. Just the fact that that's even a category just makes me... I'm not going to head desk again. I did that last week, but it makes me almost want to. The Extreme Moment of the Year, the This Is Awesome Moment of the Year, the OMG Shocking Moment of the Year. What's with the trying to be hip and cool text abbreviations? I don't know. It must be a kid thing. I don't understand. Serena, do you want to explain? No, I'm Again, the look that I got. Holy smokes. You almost heard a live murder here on radio. If looks could kill, as the expression goes. And finally, the Hero Award presented, not surprisingly, by Coca-Cola. Because, again, tribute to the troops. See, it comes full circle. Now, the other categories they actually have nominees for. There's the Rivalry of the Year. The nominees are, I feel like I'm doing the award show now, Roman Reigns against Bray Wyatt, The Undertaker against Brock Lesnar, John Cena against Rusev, Team Bella against Team BAD against Team PCB, or, at the Divas Revolution for short, or Randy Orton against Seth Rollins. Yeah, I have a hunch that Taker and Lesnar is going to get that one. Just a hunch. The Double Cross of the Year. You've got the nominees of Jon Stewart costing John Cena the U.S. title at SummerSlam, Randy Orton turning on Seth Rollins from Raw of March of this year, Paige attacking Charlotte and Becky Lynch from Raw October of this year, Stardust turning on Goldust from Raw in February of this year, or finally Damien Mizdow. Yeah, there's a name we haven't heard in a while. Damien Mizdow eliminating The Miz from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 31. Probably Stewart because, celebrities. Any chance you can hit that Entertainment Tonight and Extra and all those other entities is usually a good thing. The Surprise Return of the Year. The nominees for that, you've got Chris Jericho at Night of Champions, the Dudley Boys returning to WWE on Raw, Sting returning in August 24th's Raw, Alberto Del Rio and Zeb Coulter returning at Hell in a Cell, or Demon Kane from Night of Champions. I guess the Dudleys. I don't know. If I had to pick, but I have no idea. These are not predictions certain to go wrong. As much as I'd love to try to save face and get things back over with Lucas, I'm not going to be cheap like that. I will accept my defeat with quiet dignity and grace. You son of a... No. Young Frankenstein? No? Okay, I guess I'm the only one. All right. That's Frankenstein. The rest of the nominees and categories, the Best Original WWE Network Show. The nominees are Breaking Ground, Table for Three, Stone Cold Podcast, WWE 24, and Swerved. I'd probably say my pick would be Table for Three, but I have a hunch Swerved is going to win it just because, again, comedy. Vince loves his comedy. WWE Tag Team of the Year. The nominees are The New Day, The Usos, The Primetime Players, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, and the Lucha Dragons. That'll probably go to The New Day because of how popular they've been. This category just makes me cringe. Hashtag of the Year. And I will spare you all by saying the word hashtag prior to all of these nominees. Give Divas a Chance, Save the Tables, Axelmania, RKO Out of Nowhere, and Suplex City. It's got to go to Suplex City. As much as I'd love the Dark Horse Axelmania to take it, they can't reference anything Hulk Hogan related based on his whole deal, so it's probably going to end up being Suplex City. And we'll probably see Paul Heyman accept, oh, well, it's in Minneapolis, so maybe we'll see a live appearance by Brock Lesnar. Who knows? I mean, it is in his home state of Minnesota. So it is a possibility. 3 more here. The Celebrity Moment of the Year. Because, again, WWE loves their celebrity moments. They got to get those in. Stephen Amell diving onto Stardust from SummerSlam. The cast of Entourage introducing Zack Ryder. Kevin Owens powerbombing Machine Gun Kelly off the stage. Jon Stewart getting involved in John Cena's match at SummerSlam. Or Wayne Rooney slapping King Barrett on Raw not too long ago. If this is a global vote, then I think Rooney will take it just because of the popularity of soccer. But I feel like it's going to end up, again, being Jon Stewart because his popularity with The Daily Show and whatnot, even though he just recently retired from it. The categories, again, continue to make my head hurt. The Tell Me You Just Didn't Say That Moment of the Year. I feel like the nominees for that could all be something that Lucas has said this year. But no, in this case, Dean Ambrose calling Seth Rollins Justin Bieber on Raw. Really? Seth Rollins calling Johnny Manziel Johnny Idiot Face on Raw because, you know, the elementary school insults, they're definitely going to win it. Brock Lesnar coining Suplex City at WrestleMania. And I love how they avoided the third word that followed Suplex City. I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with witch. We'll let you figure that one out on your own. And no, it isn't Twitch, which is the alter ego of Lucas DeSangro, conspicuous by his absence. Seth Rollins dissing Kane while celebrating the Authority's WrestleMania accomplishments. And finally, Paige spoiling Charlotte's Divas Championship celebration. You mean the referencing of Reed Flair is not one of the ones mentioned there? That's kind of surprising. Oh, that's right. That's because they don't want to acknowledge that. And the final category of the Slammies, the Best John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. Because why not? So you have Cena against Cesaro from the July 6th Monday Night Raw. Cena against Dolph Ziggler from Raw on October 12th. Cena and Sami Zayn from Raw on May 4th. Cena and Ambrose from March 30th's Raw, or Cena and Neville, rather. John Cena and Neville. I'm getting all kinds of backwards. The dyslexia is kicking in, apparently. Yeah, dyslexia and Tourette's. What a pairing between Lucas and I. John Cena against Neville from the May 11th Raw. So those are your categories for that. I guess it'd be a nice way to bring Sami Zayn on camera, so I guess I'll pick that, although it'll probably end up being maybe Ambrose. I don't know. It's hard to tell with a lot of these things. So there are your Slammy Awards. You will see and hear all of those coming up. And oh goodness, let me get back to the Facebook fan page here for just a moment. Bob chiming in. The sci-fi series ended this week with one of the main characters, Dwight, Adam Copeland. After helping save the town, he retires from his job and is shown fishing with his daughter and his best friend, McHugh, played by Jay Riso, better known as Christian. So that's right. The series that Edge was on, and they brought Christian in for it. That's right. This was the last season of that series. Haven. I couldn't think of the name for a second there. And John from Northeast Philly chiming in again. The LOL moment of the year. He wants to nominate The Booking. Very well done. And RKO out of nowhere showed up in video game message boards and Call of Duty emblems as well on SportsCenter. So that alone should win it. Yeah, that's there was a lot of, but I don't know if it was necessarily the hashtag as it was the various Vine videos and whatnot that were going on. So it's hard to say. It's probably going to end up being a toss-up between Suplex City and RKO out of nowhere. All right, we got a couple of minutes left, so it's time once again for that infamous segment.
Birthdays, you jerk.
Gee, thanks, Lucas. Man, I can never, always trying to get his stuff in. All right, yeah, I'll get to that and then get back to the Facebook fan page in just a second because John having lots of fun things to say. On this date in 1961, Reginald Howard White was born. Oh, you know who that is, Ted. The member of Lawrence Taylor's All-Pro team from WrestleMania 11 and one-time WCW competitor. Oh, yeah, and Pro Football Hall of Famer known as the Minister of Defense, Reggie White, passed away in 2004 at the age of 43, unfortunately. And on this date in 1967, Eric Watts was born. Now you can ask who. Oh. There you go. The son of WWE Hall of Famer Bill Watts and former TNA, WCW, and WWF competitor known under both his own name and Troy of the short-lived Techno Team 2000 from the WWF turns 48 today. That's all I got for birthdays. There were a lot more last week. Yeah, just 2 this week. But it kind of works out well because I've got a couple of minutes and I'll get to something very important, that big announcement that I've been teasing in just a second. But John chiming in one last time. So not only does Cena win all the awards, but they actually named one after him. Man, not a lot of love for Cena. What can I say? Oh, goodness. But so, yes, the big announcement that I've been teasing here. I'm probably going to get a little bit emotional saying this. Some of you may know, but most may not. Yesterday marked 10 years to the day since my father, Fearon Harvey Derry, passed away at the age of 57. Now, if not for my dad, I would never have become a fan of professional wrestling. He unfortunately never got to hear me on the air, but given everything that I've contributed to WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly over the past almost 7 years, I can only imagine how proud he would be. Well, what I'm about to share with you would have him beaming with pride. As of this past Monday, December 14th, I have enrolled in the world-famous Monster Factory Professional Wrestling School. Wow, we've got applause here in the studio. I wasn't expecting that. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm 34. You know, my goal isn't exactly Stanford. I mean, my goals are simply to learn, to grow, and to become a better person, and anything else that comes out of it is purely a bonus. I'm looking forward to the opportunity, and I want to thank owner Danny Cage for giving me the opportunity. And as much as I've been making fun of the I don't think I can say that B word here on the air, so we'll just say that twitchy individual. There we go. You can piece it all together. But as much as I make fun of Lucas here, I want to thank him because without him, it's an impossible dream that is becoming possible. So that shouldn't have too much of a negative effect on the show. In fact, it may have some positive effects regarding some road trips, but more on that as it develops. But there it is. I am a student now alongside Lucas at Monster Factory Pro Wrestling. So with that, may all of your Christmases be merry, no matter how or if you celebrate them. And I'll talk to you next week here on Pro Wrestling Weekly. Play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock and all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490 WBCB 11.